This is Job 20:11. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it not and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asps within him. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast the poor. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, pushing this word with true sincerity, with charity, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice. We who are ready to live salute you. All right. And this lesson is going to be based on this devil, Matt Walsh. All right. I'm just going to play a little bit of this video from the Elderman St. Benjamin in Chicago.
Our civilization one that we should be proud of, even in spite of its history of conquest? Is our civilization one that we should be proud of, even in spite of its history of conquest? No, not in spite of that history. I'm proud of it in large part because of that history. It is one of the great triumphs of all time that our forefathers had to first conquer an ocean in order to then land on a giant mass of uncharted wilderness filled with untold dangers and wild beasts, and yes, primitive warring tribes, many of whom practiced human sacrifice and cannibalism, and who, if they captured you, would torture you for fun and rape your wife and children before killing you, maybe eating your internal organs and taking your family as their property. And yet, in the face of those unimaginable horrors, our forefathers and ancestors conquered this entire hemisphere and settled it and single-handedly dragged it out of the Stone Age and built from the wilderness the greatest civilization the world had ever known. Am I proud of that? Yes, I am. And yes, primitive warring tribes, many of whom practice human sacrifice and cannibalism.
Right, and keep that same energy, man. All right. So like the scripture I just said, man, you know, let's like the scripture I just read, man. But let me grab another one. All right, so yeah, this Edomite has not left off from his hatred towards you tribes, man. All right, he's this is the mindset of the average Edomite, man. This is the so-called white supremacist mindset. You're inferior. I conquered you by my own hand, you know. But hey, man, in doing so, you've built a blood debt, man, that you have to pay. So keep that same energy, man. You know, it's like a guy that's in a restaurant running up a tab, man. Yeah, the meal is good. You know, you're enjoying it. You know, that's why Scripture says the Lord's going to rain destruction upon you while you are eating, man. That's in the book of Job as well, man. But when it comes time for you to pay that tab, man, let's say you keep that same attitude, man. This is Ezekiel 35 and 6. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood. See, Yahweh Bashim Shai is preparing you, as the scripture says. Yahweh Bashim Shai has a great slaughter, has a great sacrifice in Basra, man, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumeans. That's you Edomites, man. The Lord's preparing you for a sacrifice, man. All right. Therefore, as I live, Ezekiel 35 and 6, therefore, as I live, thus saith Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right. So, hey, look, man. And, that blood debt, man, it's on your ass, man. And these Edomites can feel it, man. And that's why you have guys like Matt Walsh saying the things that he's saying, man. Okay? Because we're in the end of Esau Edom. You know, the shit that Esau kept secret that he only said amongst his own, it's starting to come out to the forefront because he's at his last end, man. Right? Matter of fact, let me get a scripture on that. This is Sirach 14 and 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? Right? And the brother Saint Benji in his lesson, he basically was going into how you Edomites, man, you want to talk about how, you know, these tribes were warring. Nobody's ever warred on a scale that you Edomites have, man. And you Edomites have slaughtered more, not only people, period, more of your own people than anybody has ever slaughtered, man. All right. You Edomite, World War One, World War Two. All right. Okay. You slaughtered millions and millions of people, man. All right. The Iraq War, man. Vietnam. The list goes on, man. Okay. You know, so you don't care. You've proven that you don't give a damn about your own people, man. When you want to talk about warring tribe, if there ever was a warring tribe on earth, it's your ass, man. Okay? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. All right? That's not the scripture I was looking for, but hold on, let me try to find it. Right, this is Sirach 14 and 3. Riches are not comely for a nigger, and what shall an envious man do with money? He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others that shall spend his goods righteously. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, right? And that's the spirit of Esau, man. And this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he shall declare his wickedness, right? So it's mask off, man. At the last he's gonna declare his wickedness, man. So now he's taking that mask off. Yeah, I'm the devil. Yeah, I did this. Yeah, I did that. And he's proud about it and good, man. You know, good. We applaud that attitude. We applaud that behavior, man. All right. Because like the elderman St. Benji went into, you think you did this by your own hand, as the scripture says, man. So the axe boast itself against him that he was there with, man. All right. You think you've done this by your own hand. All right. The Lord is removing that joystick out of your hand, man. Matter of fact, he's letting you know that your joystick was never plugged in. Nigga, you were never playing, man. Okay. Yahweh Shem Shai ruleth in the kingdom of men and setteth up over it the basis of men. And you're being proven to be the basis of men, man. You're the basis of men, man. All right. Your history is a damn lie. You weren't the Vikings. All right. You weren't the original Europeans, man. All right. You weren't the original anything but the devil and Edomites, man. All right. So this is just the type of spirit the Lord wants you in, man, before he breaks you, man. Because he's going to break your pride, man. All right. But you got to pay that debt, man. Numbers 35 and 33. Go ahead and read that, man. There's a blood debt, man. All right. And you're not going to be so proud. Hold on. This is Ezekiel 28 and 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver unto thy treasures. Right. You know, he said, I have robbed the earth like a valiant man. I did this by myself. Right. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches. Right. And America's pretty much a merchant city. Right. Anything goes. Right. Everything here has a price tag on it. And the majority of things that do shouldn't be bought or sold. And thine heart is lifted up because of thine riches. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations. Right, as it says in the book of Obadiah, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, man. All right, there's no understanding in you, man. All right, and what the world's finding out that you don't have any wise men, man. All right, where are thy wise men, as the scripture says, man? and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness, right? And they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. You're going to be a bitch, man. You're going to be revealed to be the bitch that you are, man. You're a little boy uh, 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 throwing a temper tantrum in the garden, all right, because you can't have your new world order. You can't have your NWO, man. All right. That's why the scripture says they're going to be like madmen sparing none, man. All right. I'm thinking about that song, Cut My Life into Pieces. This is my last resort. All right. That is your last resort, is that sword, man. All right. Make America great again. See, Esau's remembering his claim to fame, man. You know, and Esau, and Yahweh Shemi Shai is putting a spirit on this devil to be proud, man. He's hardening his heart, just like he did Pharaoh, man. All right. He's hardening his heart. And that never go when the Lord hardens somebody hard, it never ends well for him, man. I've never read about somebody hard being hardened in the scriptures, and it was to their good. All right. The Lord hardened your heart so he could break you. All right. So that's what we see in this devil, man. All right. So he's gonna come down with great wrath because he knoweth that he have but a short time. He's gonna come down like a madman, sparing none, man. All right. Because the Lord is wait. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So Yahweh Shemi Shai is consuming you right now with the spirit of his mouth, man. See, truth for Edomite, truth is not your friend, man. All right? Because you're still that serpent, right? You're more evolved, right? You went from a serpent to a dragon. All right? So you're more evolved now, like a abominable damn Pokemon. You know, you went from serpent to a dragon. But what was one of the attributes of the serpent? On his belly shall he go, and dust shall he eat all the days of his life. And that dust represents confusion. All right. So you can only thrive in confusion. All right. You can only thrive in lies, confusion, disinformation, man. All right. Misinformation, disinformation. That's the only place you can thrive and survive at. All right. But as the scripture says, the truth shall overflow the refuge of lies, roughly paraphrasing, man. And that's what's happening because we're in the information age, man. And the Lord has raised up the prophets to reveal things and prophesy against your kingdom and you. But also he's put the spirit on certain people to reveal things, man. There's a lot of information going out. That's why he has to spew out more confusion, because there's too many people waking up. They're waking up to the system, the way it works. All right, the intents of these people that are in power. All right, they're waking up to history that was lied about. All right, people that you tried to portray to be savages and nobodies. People are finding out that these people were ingenious people, man, inventors, creators. All right, so the and who you are is being revealed, man. As the scripture says, the Lord will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast that is spread over all nations. All right, and the veil that is spread over all people, roughly paraphrasing, man. So who you are is being revealed. Who the Israelites are is being revealed. Who certain people were in places like Europe and around the world, migration patterns, languages people spoke, all right, civilizations that people built, man, that your people tried to hide and omit from your history books. It's all coming out now, man. So this is the last final death throes of the Edomite spirit, man. Because what he's saying, is Isaiah 47:5. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Right. And the scripture says, he that touches you touches the apples of his eye. So you're going to find out who you put your hands on. Hey, Hitler knew it. He tried to warn you. Thou didst shew them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou verily heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. So thou didst not lay these things to thy heart. Neither did thou remember the latter end of it. Right. Okay. Yeah. So you didn't know that it was a part two to this thing you call manifest destiny, man. All right. And you can best believe in this movie, the sequel is going to be way better than the original. All right. The sequel is going to be eternal. All right. Matter of fact, it's not going to ever end. Therefore, here now, this well, as far as you're concerned, you only have 1,000 years to suffer that, and you're not going to exist anymore. All right. Therefore, here now, this thou that art given to pleasures, thou that dwellest carelessly, that says in thy heart, I am and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. So that's the attitude, man. I am and none besides me. I'm the guy who conquered. All right. I'm the prudent one. You know, I'm the most involved form of human on earth. Okay. I have my high IQ. Right. These two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Right. All right. Okay. So yeah, man, you're gonna get a return on your investment, man, on that blood debt you built up, right? For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am and none else besides me. That's his mindset. That's Matt Walsh right there, man. All right. I'm the man. You're a boy. You're a boy or you're a savage. Right? There was no humans here. We discovered this place, man. No, there was no humans here till we got here, right? That's why, man, we can't wait to get our hands on you devils, man. See, that's a great that is a great it says we're gonna be singing aloud upon our beds with a two-edged sword in our hands to execute vengeance on your ass, man. All right. It says this honor have all his saints, man. So a part of our the kingdom of heaven, man, a part of all the glory and the things that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to give, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to give us, the riches, the just creation itself. We're going to be gods, we're going to live eternally. We're never going to sin. We're going to know pretty much every damn thing. All right, there is to be known, All right. Out of all that, one of the pleasures that he's going to give us is you. He's going to let us break you. As the scripture says, he's going to give us the heathen, and we're going to break you with a rod of iron, man. All right. So it's beautiful to just see that level of pride, man, because that's exactly what the Lord wants you, man. Because we're going to parade you through this earth with your head down. What it says in Second Ezra, some was sorry, some were bound, some were brought of them that were offered, man. It's going to be beautiful putting you in chains, man. In chains head first, starting with your elites, man. All right. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it arises. Right, if you're so smart, man, you're such a smart motherfucker, right? Matt Walsh, Esau, right? Why do you have a debased currency, huh? Why do you have a whole nother country that you're giving billions of dollars to that are basically bought and paid for your entire country? Why do you have a Federal Reserve that's really not federal? Why is it private and it's a small hat family? And this is the same guy, Matt Walsh, that has everything to say about everything else, but when he's questioned about the small hats, he basically cowered, man. Right? You know who to bark at. You know, you're a good little dog, man. You know, and you're low level, man. This guy Matt Walsh is a low level peon, Edomite cracker who probably doesn't even have access to a bunker when the missiles start flying, man. All right. And if he did have access to one, it's probably going to be on the shores of America, which means he's going to get whacked anyway. Right? Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it ariseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. All right. So yeah, man, all these things are gonna come onto you in 1 hour. The Lord's getting ready to erase your race. All right. So it's beautiful to see this level of pride, man, because this is the best state for you to be in right before the Lord breaks your ass, man. All right. You know, and this is the Edomite. This is a model Edomite, that we're dealing with, man. Exhibit fucking A, man. All right. you know, and you're done, man. All right. You know, your kingdom is, your people are divided. Your kingdom is full of a bunch of freaks and weirdos. You know, this guy, he talks against the Labiquita community and shit like that, But Esau's angle is try to mix the Labiquita with so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, so-called minorities, man. All right, so he's able to attack uh, all all those circles in one fell swoop, man. That's a part of his witchcraft. Like the scripture when I read down says, "Stand now with thine enchantments." Right? I read that Isaiah 47:12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Right. So the Lord's mocking you, man. He's mocking you, man. The shit that you've been doing is not working no more. You're being revealed. All right. That cloud of confusion that people are seeing through it, man. All right. Hey, see if that's going to help you prevail. Because the shit that he's spewing is what? Darwinism, Edomite supremacy, all that old science falsely so-called is all coming back, man. It's all coming back, man. So it's mask off, man. He thought, he could hide and be an American and, you know, but it's too much being revealed on him now, man. The Lord is shining the light on his works, man. So the devil shall come down with great wrath. This devil is mad, man. He's very angry, man. He's angry that people are finding out about the real history of Europe. Okay, how great the Israelites over here in the Americas were. You know, the achievements that they made. With the aqueducts, man. How they built pyramids, man. How there was Hebrew artifact. I remember Glenn Beck brought some of that stuff out. He ended up getting fired for it, man. All right. Showing you the attitude of Esau towards the truth, man. You know. And you've been lost the narrative. You've been lost the information war, man. All right, because Yahweh Shemiah Shai is in control, especially if you're talking about the internet, man. You thought you was just going to control the internet, man. But this is Yahweh Shemiah Shai's unicorn, man. He created it for this very day, and this very moment, and this very purpose, man. For this word to go out and for the elect to be sealed, man. So you're at your end, man. You know, this is the final death throes of the Edomite kingdom, man. The final Edomite kingdom to ever exist, man. All right. But yeah, it's pretty much what I got. Hope there's some edification within this lesson, and shalom.